Well, we may have found the next thing to appear in the Florida State lawsuit. Jimbo Fisher says he tried to warn the ACC long ago that they were going to fall woefully behind financially. Welcome into the channel. I am John Kurtz. Here on this channel, we talk college football, conference realignment, college basketball all day, every day. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you are not. Live shows Wednesdays and Sundays, a ton of fun. We get people from all over the college football world. Please, please, please subscribe, click the bell so you know what it is that I am going live. If you're a college football fan, you do not want to miss out. Like the video, easy way to support the channel. I'd appreciate that. And let me know what you think in the comments here. Is Jimbo lying? Is Jimbo telling the truth? Should Florida State actually use this? Boy, this is some interesting stuff on a Sirius XM college sports interview from Jimbo Fisher, where he is talking to one of his former players, an EJ Manuel, who was hosting with Jacob Hester, former LSU Tiger there. So a lot of connections to Jimbo here. And he drew these comments, this one clip, it's like a 2-minute clip. It drew a lot of headlines in numerous ways. Did another video here on the channel about the fact that, for Big 12 and ACC fans, he said that Big 12 and ACC schools in some ways are becoming glorified JUCOs because they're just going to get players picked off by bigger schools as we move forward in the way that this is all set up. You can understand why that would draw some headlines. But there was also this. I went for the glorified JUCOs comments. What I left with was a bigger impression of Jimbo saying, look, man, I predicted this. I tried to tell the ACC this. And remember this. Think about this in the context of how Florida State has handled their lawsuit with the ACC. They were trying to dig as deep as they possibly could. And they got to the point where they dug deep enough to say, look, John Swofford, the old commissioner of the ACC, you had a nepotism thing going on with your kid and working at Raycom, and that helped screw up the conference. They're already digging all that deep. If Jimbo Fisher here says, look, I tried to warn everybody, doesn't that supplement their case where they were like, look, this was just ignorance by the conference. They poorly managed this, and we shouldn't be held liable for the grant of rights? We'll duck in on Jimbo about halfway through here. Listen to this.
If we don't even it out, I don't know what the answer is, but we got to cut to some parity somehow, some way. But it's pushing to exactly what you said. I don't know if it's 40 teams, 45, 50, 30. I don't think it's going to be as many as you think. That's the sad part. Because how many's in the Big Ten now? How many schools in the SEC is going to be what, 16? We were 14, going to be 16. Yeah. All right, how many's in the Big Ten?
I think it's 14 or 16. I think.
No, you got 18, don't you?
18. Wow.
Yeah.
18.
And so you're 32 to 34 teams, somewhere in that realm right now. And so and that's probably why I would, it'd be interesting being Amelia Island right now with Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina trying to get out. Those meetings over there are going real interesting right now. And I know why. Yeah. They want to be a half.
Right.
And listen, to go some history, EJ, when you were there, sometimes when I came back from those meetings, I was in a bad mood. I got into it with the commissioner over there trying to tell him this was coming, and they wouldn't listen to me. Yeah, we got into a couple of knockdown dragouts, and I was letting them know this is coming, and we weren't, in my opinion, weren't doing some of the things we need to do in that league to allow us, because at that time we were as good as anybody in the country. During our 8 years there, we were in the top 2 or 3 winning percentages in the country and winning and ready to win national championships. We won one and played for them, but I knew eventually it was snowballing because of what we were doing from a conference alignment, and it's even getting that stretch is getting greater as we sit here.
Whoo boy. Interesting. Throwing a little bit of gasoline on the fire from Jimbo Fisher there. Now, I would love to know the specific timing on this. Like, what years are we talking about here? Because is Jimbo saying, I tried to tell them we needed to go all out in 2010 when Texas was on the market, when there was the near move to the Pac-12 from Texas, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, like that faction, Oklahoma State, were they included in that? That faction of the Big 12 at that time? Was it like we needed to make those sort of moves to potentially propel our value into the future? Or was it like kind of the party line from Florida State right now, which is basically just like, this was totally mismanaged. You should have done more to make us a more valuable entity. Seemingly more vague. Right now, it seems like more vague. That would be the one specific thing I would think Jimbo could point to and say, well, I told them to do this. They didn't do that. If I'm looking at this from something that could like really legitimately help Florida State, I suppose, in their case, if they're going to go down this road. Hell, maybe it's already in there, man. I mean, I have no idea. It wouldn't shock me. And the way Florida State is going, it wouldn't shock me at all if this is something that really perks their ears up when they hear it. It also maybe just gives you a little bit of window into the dysfunctionality of the ACC for a while now. I mean, if you had Jimbo Fisher back when he was the head coach there, getting into knockdown dragouts with the commissioner every time that they would go out to Amelia Island, or I don't know if it was always at Amelia Island, wherever it was that they were going for conference meetings. If you had that happening on a regular basis, like, you had to know that things were not really great for this conference long term, right? Like that has to make sense. And maybe if Jimbo felt like that, maybe Florida State has really felt like that for a while, and some of their furor now are just things bubbling up to the surface. I mean, it very, very well could be. Either way, that is a hell of a headline, a hell of a quote to come from Jimbo. I would hope that we get more and more from Jimbo Fisher now that he is not the head coach at Texas A&M. If we could get more interesting comments and stories, I guess this is really more of a story than anything else from his time at Florida State. I am very much here for it. I can give you the beginning of this clip as well if you wanted to hear how he got into all of this, and the glorified JUCOs comment that certainly has ruffled some feathers.
Here's what's happening. All your mid-majors and a lot of your even not mid-majors and some of these other, and I'm going to say ACC, Big 12, Old Pac-12, some of those leagues, they're becoming glorified junior colleges. And some of those teams used to battle for playoffs and have great teams because, all right, they took that 3-star guy or that 4-star guy you missed, and they developed him into a heck of a player, and he became a great player at their school. How about Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech? Would he have ever stayed at Texas Tech? Somebody would have came and got him. You know what I'm saying? And what's happening, and then your halves are out there saying, okay, I need a corner, I need a tackle, and I need a running back. They have one, and they're going to these 4-year schools and just selecting, and those guys are really becoming glorified junior colleges. And it's a shame. And I mean great college football programs that have won big in the past and had tremendously great players, but that.
All right. Now we're back to where we started on Jimbo, but can we get this man on TV? Like, get Jimbo Fisher on TV. Get him on College Game Day. Who needs Nick Saban? Give me Jimbo Fisher if he's going to say stuff like this all the time. That's a pretty good, like, TV debut sort of resume reel for Jimbo Fisher on that front. Man, got to shake that one off. Thank you, Jimbo, for that. Thank you to our friends. Let me make sure I credit this correctly. Thank you to our friends at SiriusXM, College Sports on SiriusXM, and shout out to the Big 12 crew on SiriusXM's College Sports Radio. Jacob Hester, EJ Manuel, doing a great job coaxing that one out of Jimbo Fisher there as well. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you know what it is that I'm going live. Like the video if you can, and let me know what you think in the comments. How do you feel about Jimbo Fisher saying this? Could the ACC have actually done anything? Does Jimbo have a real point here? Let me know, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care.